Hello everyone, this is Fabio and welcome back. I am again very excited today because I can finally talk about a certain game, a really old school game that up until today I couldn't play, and I always knew about it, I always wanted to play it, but thanks to the way games are both released and made um, these days, I was finally able to play this game. And I'm talking about Dragon Quest 1 on my phone, because I played and beat 30 seconds ago the iOS version of Dragon Quest. We all know the Dragon Quest series naturally, especially RPG fans, and Dragon Quest 1 it's where the series started. And unfortunately for me at least, I don't know for other European players, but in my case, since the game was never released in Europe back then on the NES, I was never able to play the games. And in Europe, Dragon Quest really started to be released from the days of Dragon Quest VIII. For what I know, that is the first Dragon Quest game released in Europe as well. And we all know, naturally, about the weird status of the Dragon Quest series, which is insanely popular in Japan. They go crazy for Dragon Quest games and stuff. While in the West, there is a really strong and loyal fan base, but apparently maybe it's not strong enough to convince Square Enix to release more games in the West. So I I believe that we're still lucky enough to have the possibility to replay these games or play, in my case, the original games and more on iOS, Android, on our phones. Because a game like Dragon Quest 1, you can easily play it on your phone. I don't know, because I saw that there is Dragon Quest 4, Dragon Quest 8. I don't know how you can play Dragon Quest 8 on your phone. Maybe on your iPad will be easier. I don't know. Playing on PS2, it's probably better. We all know the story of Dragon Quest 1, if you can call it a story. It's such a simple game. It's such really bare bones. You are this lonely hero, and you're traveling through the land in order to save the princess and finally uh, confront and slay the Dragon Lord, the source of all evil in this land. That's it. That's nothing else to say about the story of Dragon Quest One. But you may say that's ridiculous, but this is a 1985, 84, I don't even remember. This is a really old game. And back then, especially in terms of RPGs, stories were not really strong. Were just really RPGs were just getting started at the time. Before Dragon Quest, we had the first Dragon Slayer games. I don't remember if it's from the same year or next year we have the first Final Fantasy. And I never played the Dragon Slayer games, but with Final Fantasy One, the story it's a bit more. There is something more with the crystals, the finding the crystals and everything. It's something more, but again, not that deep. But that it's normal. It was absolutely normal for the time. These are not games that, especially now, you play for the story. In my case, I play Dragon Quest 1 for the charm of it because I am a huge Dragon Quest fan. I love this series immensely. And I always wanted to play the original game, the game that introduced us to the Dragon Quest universe, and that started it all. And it will be progressively being perfected with the following games of the series. So, what is the charm for me of Dragon Quest 1? Because it's such a simple game. You're just this one player, this lone hero fighting single combat, one monster at the time, with a lot of random battles. Again, that was normal for the time. Random encounters were always high in also in old school RPGs, and I don't mind that. But it was kind of boring sometimes in the game because in the game there is an item called the magic armor that refills your HP while you're walking. So sometimes I was lazy and trying to um, save my NPs and walking around just to refill my health. and sometimes you have to fight every 2 seconds. That was kind of boring sometimes, but that in a way also helped me grinding a lot. So by the end of the game, I killed the Dragon Lord with a lot of without any effort, with relative ease, because it was so strong. I think that by the end, because I was always walking around refilling my health, but I didn't mind that. The charm for me, it's this mechanic, this really old school feeling of the game, being the lone hero walking around exploring the land. That at the time this was a big game. Today, naturally, it's kind of ridiculous, of course, with the huge um, muscle power of today's consoles. Naturally, you cannot have a game like Dragon Quest One. That's the reason why we have Dragon Quest 8 and others. But you really have to put yourself into the mind of the childs of the 80s, I believe, to play this game when RPGs were completely unknown. And all of a sudden, you have Dragon Warrior in North America, Dragon Quest in Japan, and have playing this big adventure. And it's so fascinating to me. And that is the strongest point in Dragon Quest 1 that really made me love this game so much because I have such a strong nostalgic feeling with Dragon Quest, even though at the time I never played the games. But thanks to two mangas in particular, it was called like The Great Adventure of Dai, I believe, at least in Italian, that was the title, I'm just translating it, and The Emblem of Roto. These two mangas take place in the Dragon Quest universe. So I was really young when those are two of my first mangas after Dragon Ball Z. So while I was reading these, I was getting into the Dragon Quest universe. I was knowing it. So I started to get curious to gather information. So, oh, Dragon Quest, what is this? So way before I started to play the actual games, I already knew about Dragon Quest, like the art by Akira Toriyama, all those really good stuff that are some of the strongest points of the series. The first time I actually played a Dragon Quest game that was released in Europe and everything, I believe it was only with the release of the DS games. Very late. But they still have a strong nostalgic feeling for that reason, because at least 10 years before they were released in Europe, I already knew about the series, always wanted to play these games. So badly, by the way, after I read those mangas, I wanted to play Dragon Quest so badly, but I couldn't because I couldn't buy them. The first one that I actually played was Dragon Quest 3, because I rented it for just a couple of days, nothing more. So I barely remember playing that game. But because, at least in my video game store, you could actually rent import games, but it was more expensive because you also need the adapter, so you have to rent both of them. Hence, well, it was more expensive. But at least I tried Dragon Quest 3 for like 6 hours, probably something like that. But the other strong nostalgic feeling that I had with Dragon Quest was the fact that Dragon Quest was what I was playing on my own while I was not playing video games. Basically, my house, it's always been in front of a big woods. So while I was not playing video games or something like that, and we're talking when I was like 3 or 4 years old, so a long time ago, I used to get out, go in my garden, and having this big adventure in my mind, dreaming of being this lone hero and going around in the woods to find the Dragon Lord and save the princess, basically. Yes, I was really, really young, so that was the kind of fun and dream that we had. And it was so much fun. And then playing this game, playing Dragon Quest 1, brought it all back. It was so nostalgic in a way. It made me remind what I was dreaming about Dragon Quest games by reading the mangas or having my own adventure. Like I dreamt being an adventure with the characters from Dragon Quest. And curiously enough, I didn't have this with Final Fantasy because I started to play Final Fantasy during the Super Nintendo days with Final Fantasy 4 and 6 when I rented them. Because again, they weren't released in Europe at the time. And but I didn't really know about Final Fantasy before during the NES days, so with Final Fantasy 1. So when I played Final Fantasy 1 on Game Boy Advance, I thought this is a nice game. It's really good for its time, but I didn't have that nostalgia and that childhood memories that just like overwhelmed me while playing Dragon Quest 1. While I was playing Dragon Quest, it was everything was still there. It was all actually brought back with such a great feeling while I was playing it. I mean, you don't need to pay attention to the story or everything because, as I said, it's such a simple game. But having this like nostalgia while playing it was so good. And that's the reason why I love this game so much because there's nothing to say in a from like the graphics, the music, the combat. It's so simple. Everything. Like the graphics is really actually I think it's actually an improved version of the original one, but it's still Dragon Quest One. It doesn't look like Final Fantasy 13, for example. It's not HD, but it looks okay. I don't mind. I don't really care. You're not playing Dragon Quest for the graphics or a revolutionary combat system. You play Dragon Quest for that old school feeling. That's what you want by a Dragon Quest game. And in a way, that is what we need. That's why we need Dragon Quest. Um, Other companies, other series may experiment with different combat system, weird, complicated story, mm, technical achievements with graphics and music. It's all great, but you need your Dragon Quest games. You need the old school feeling, that sort of hidden place that sometimes you need to play this game. You need to have a Dragon Quest game in your collection, whatever it is. Personally, I'm trying to finally have them all and play them all. Um, uh, Now that yesterday on Facebook I read that Dragon Quest 2 has been released on iOS, I will definitely going to buy it and played it, so I can say that I played the original trilogy. Finally, something that I wanted to do since um, 1989, something like that. I'm doing it, just a bit late, but it wasn't possible for me before. And I cannot wait to play Dragon Quest 2 to see the first time that you can have party members and stuff like that. I cannot wait. And so after that, I still need to play Dragon Quest 3. I don't know what would be of 7 because that's the other game that I need to find and play because I would probably play it on the PlayStation 1, I think, because the possibility of having that on the 3DS is getting kind of smaller and smaller because apparently Square Enix is forgetting that they have Dragon Quest as a series. I mean, if it's not Final Fantasy, who cares? But at least they're giving this game on iPhone and iOS and whatever. That's good enough for me. So that's it, I believe. There's not much to say about the game. To me, it was just this nostalgic feeling, this reliving these old school memories that I always wanted to have while playing a Dragon Quest game. And I cannot wait to play Dragon Quest 2 and more games in the series. And I'm hoping that Square Enix stop messing around with this series and realize that in the West there is a fan base for these games and we want more Dragon Quest. Just want to finish with this. So guys, thanks for watching. Like always, take care.